stages, it often has no symptoms. The good news is that with appropriate screening, colorectal cancer can be prevented. And if it is detected early, it is highly treatable. So if you're 50 or older, talk to your doctor about colorectal cancer screening. It could save your life.
This CBS Health Watch is being sponsored by UC Davis Comprehensive Cancer Center.
It's Tomato Mania at Ace Hardware. 4 days to save on everything you need to grow your own. 4-inch tomato plants are just 88 cents. 3-ring tomato cages for only 77 cents each. Miracle Grow garden soil is just $2.99 after Ace Reward instant savings. Ready Grow planting mix is only $1.99. And Scott's flour and vegetable food is just $2.49. It's Tomato Mania. 4 days only and only at participating Ace Hardware stores. Ace, the helpful place.
It's Ashley Furniture Home Store's Beat the Clock event this Easter weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Get 30% off store-wide. Plus 30 months, no interest, no down payment, no minimum purchase. Beat the clock at Ashley Furniture Home Store.
At UC Davis, the lives we touch inspire us. One team, one choice. One UC Davis.
Hey, Vince Bloom?
Yes?
$50 says you don't have the Jeep Cherokee I'm looking for.
Give me that! Elk Grove Jeep has over 60 Cherokees in stock, more than anybody!
Then I bet you don't have the Sport I want.
I got 10 on sale, under 20 grand, just $19,777.
4x4s?
Gimme! 10 for only $21,777. No one in Northern California has more Jeep Cherokees in stock than last year's Elk Grove Jeep. Our name means a great deal in the Elk Grove Auto Mall and online at elkgrovejeep.com.
Tonight on CBS 13 News at 6, it's been a major eyesore in Elk Grove for years now, but now there's a plan for change. What's in store for the unfinished Promenade Shopping Mall?
This guy and his dad are dreaming big for the future. That's a local third grader, and he just landed a $100,000 scholarship for college. How did he do that? Where is he from? Tonight at 6.
Good for him. Proud parents, I'm sure. Well, it's not just a blue diamond. It's the blue diamond, and it's the belle of the ball at a jewelry auction in New York.
Next week, Christie's will lead the spring jewelry auction with more than 250 jewels in a 2-session sale. This rare blue diamond available, expected to sell for more than $25 million.
Pocket change.
Don't lose it.
Someone.
Don't lose that.
Oh, it's pretty though.
Evening News is straight ahead with Scott Pelley and more local news coming your way in a half hour.
We'll see you then. Good night.
Getting answers from Sacramento's most watched late news. This is the CBS 13 News at 10.
And I looked over and saw the FedEx truck coming straight for me.
Tonight, first on CBS 13, the couple in the third vehicle of that deadly bus crash tell us what happened.
I just said we're alive.
We're alive, man. I mean, it was unreal.
They survived, but 10 others did not. Tonight, as investigators try to piece this tragedy together, a shocking revelation about the FedEx truck.
He was in flames already.
Tonight, as we get a first look at all 10 victims, we are just getting word that a third victim from that crash has been identified. Marisa Serrato died. Her twin sister survived. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shannon Bernius.
I'm Sam Shane. Let's get you caught up on what we know tonight. The very latest here at CBS 13. NTSB investigators are in Orland. They have begun the painstaking process of going through the charred wreckage. They're expected to be there for the next 2 weeks, we are told. They will also try to determine if a barrier in the median could have prevented yesterday's head-on collision. Several of the more than 30 victims injured remain in 6 hospitals at this hour.
We have live team coverage tonight. We begin with a story you'll see first on CBS 13. Nick James spoke with the couple in the third vehicle who nearly escaped death in that explosive crash.
Well, Shannon and Sam, for them it happened in slow motion. The FedEx truck careening across the median, across the freeway into northbound lanes and coming right toward them. But perhaps it's one thing they told us that's most important here. They say that that FedEx truck was already on fire before it ever hit the tour bus.
Fresh out of the hospital, Bonnie and Joe Duran came back, drawn to the spot.
Somehow we survived.
Where they almost lost their lives.
Yeah, I was heading along in the outside lane, and I looked over and saw the FedEx truck coming straight for me.
It was like a 3D movie. You know, just imagine a Mack truck coming out of a movie.
The FedEx truck was heading south on I-5 when it veered across the median through some buses into the northbound lanes. The truck clipped the Duran's car before hitting the tour bus head on.
I could just tell I wasn't going to get out of his way. It was pretty scary.
We felt that impact, and we just slid over, and then it was like an angel literally coasted us right down.
Bonnie swerved just enough to avoid a direct hit as their rental car slid into a ditch.
And we looked at each other. What did you say?
I just said we're alive.
We're alive, man. I mean, it was unreal.
It is affirmative, semi versus a tour bus.
And moments later, the Washington couple says the bus carrying more than 40 high school students from LA County burst into flames.
3 booms. It was like a big, huge boom, and another one. And then I guess somebody said you could hear tires popping. Poof, poof, poof.
10 died, including 5 students, 3 chaperones, and both drivers. Investigators say it's unclear why the FedEx driver lost control. They're looking into whether he fell asleep or swerved to avoid another collision or had a mechanical problem. The Durans told us something so startling, we had to ask twice.
So the FedEx truck was already on fire?
Yeah, it was.
Bonnie says she's sure the FedEx truck careening toward her was already on fire before it ever hit the bus. It could shed light into a crash investigation expected to take months.
It was so scary. We were wondering if anyone was going to get out of there alive.
And for Joe and Bonnie, it was such an incredibly close call, Sam and Chen. And Joe looked at his wife and he said, you know, if you hadn't been able to swerve just a few inches more, we may not be standing here to tell this story tonight. They made it out, of course, so sadly 10 people did not.
Nick, have Joe and Bonnie talked to NTSB investigators? Did they tell you whether or not they have, talked with the officials about this? This is really a remarkable revelation that they say that this truck, the FedEx truck, was on fire when it swerved towards them. What have they told you about that, or did they?
Well, they didn't speak to that specifically. You can only surmise, though, that being one of the vehicles involved in this collision, that they've been interviewed extensively by investigators, and certainly, if not, you'd hope that they would be. In the initial stages here, the NTSB and the CHP have both been pretty tight-lipped about what they think may have happened. That, of course, is fairly common in an investigation such as this, but certainly very startling when we heard that the FedEx truck may have already been on fire before it ever collided with the bus.
This is critical information, very dramatic, and it also could influence the entire scope of the investigation. Nick James bringing this information to us first here on CBS 13. Thank you. We are learning more about the victims tonight.
There's Christina Anderson. She's at Touchscreen 13. The victims now. This has become a story of the known and the unknown tonight.
That it has, and many of these people are either dead or missing and presumed to be dead. But we want to give you a closer look at who they are and who we're talking about tonight. Among the dead, college counselor Arthur Arzola, as well as Michael Myvet. We know that they are confirmed dead as of this evening. Michael's fiance, Madison Haywood, is missing and presumed dead tonight, but she again is missing and presumed dead. Just in the last couple of hours here, we have learned from the family of Marissa Serrato that she, in fact, also was confirmed dead. Now, still missing and presumed to be dead, Denise Gomez, Jennifer Bonilla, Ishmael Jimenez, and Adrian Castro as well. Those are some of the faces that we're learning more about tonight. More on this first victim, however, though, Arthur Arzola. He's a counselor, or was a counselor at Humboldt State. The 26-year-old Facebook profile shows that he grew up in Chino, went to graduate school at the University of Laverne. For the past year, Arzola worked as an admissions counselor for Humboldt State University. He was accompanying the prospective students. Now, Humboldt State posted a statement on their website saying, quote, Arzola is remembered by colleagues at Humboldt State for his passionate commitment to helping low-income and first-generation students get into college. They went on to say the campus community extends its deepest condolences to Arthur's family and friends. Words cannot express our sadness, and we are here to support them in any way possible. Now, the family of twins on the trip, the family of Marissa Serrato I told you about just a moment ago, they are confirming tonight their daughter is in fact among the dead. Marissa and her twin sister Marisol were on different buses when that accident occurred, and her twin, of course, is said to be devastated.
They are very close and they're very attached, so I cannot even imagine how Marisol must be feeling.
Now, the girls attended Norte Vista High School in Southern California. Just a glimpse at some of these people who we are learning more about tonight. Just a devastating
Well,
story.
that's just one of so many sad stories, right? Okay,
Right.
Thanks so much. Investigators are struggling now to identify the badly burned victims.
First, they'll be looking at the records of who was supposed to be on the bus, and then they'll talk with families.
And as we move towards asking them those hard questions of who the dental providers were and obtaining those dental x-rays if they do exist, hopefully all of them will have on file those x-rays that we can take to a forensic odontologist to get those positive identifications.
And if there are no dental records, investigators will do DNA tests. The CEO of FedEx released a statement today saying, quote, "I want everyone to know that we at FedEx are committed to providing every resource necessary to assist investigators in their efforts to understand what happened." The charter bus company, Silverado Stage, is also releasing a statement saying, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the injured, their families, and everyone affected by this accident."
FedEx travels almost 1 billion miles a year with thousands of trucks all across the country. New tonight, David Goldstein has been looking into the safety records of both companies.
According to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FedEx Freight, the company that owned the truck, has been involved in 730 crashes nationwide in the past 2 years. That resulted in 23 fatalities and 223 injuries. That said, FedEx Freight has a satisfactory rating and a good safety record, better than 99% of similar companies across the country. But they do come in on the high side in 2 categories, according to the feds. One is vehicle maintenance. Over the past 2 years, more than 45% of other companies have scored better. We found nearly 2,000 inspections with violations, like this one for inoperative or defective brakes. Others for stop lamp violations, brake lights, and still more for worn tires. We don't know if the truck involved in the accident was cited for any of these violations. That's something investigators will be looking into. FedEx Freight also had a high number of violations for what's called driver fitness. We found violations for drivers who weren't physically qualified to drive. Some for operating a CMV, commercial motor vehicle, without a CDL, commercial driver's license, and also some for no medical certificate in the driver's possession.
Silverado Stages of San Luis Obispo is the company that owned the bus carrying those students. And while it does not appear that the bus would have been at fault, they found that Silverado to have a satisfactory rating by the feds. And coming up a bit later here at 10 o'clock, we'll have more on that. A North Highlands teacher was one of the first on the scene to respond to the crash, what she did to help the young survivors. And also coming up at 10:30, there has been a push for years to make these charter buses safer. Why has that not happened? Those stories coming up in less than 30 minutes. Our coverage on this deadly crash will continue on our website. You can find ongoing developments and watch full news conferences at cbssacramento.com. In other news tonight, 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick took to Twitter today to defend himself after a woman claimed that he and 2 other players assaulted her.
The woman says she was partying with the men and then woke up in the hospital. Miami police are investigating and haven't filed charges. She says she and Cap have had a previous relationship. The Turlock native did say on Twitter that the charges made in the TMZ story and other stories I've seen are completely wrong. They make things up about me that never happened. I take great pride in who I am and what I do, but I guess sometimes you have to deal with someone who makes things up. I want to thank all of the people who have shared their encouraging sentiments. I assure you that your faith is not misplaced.
Driving blind. A lot of us do it every day, and this can be the result. The dangers of driving blind, thanks to this, as I hit the road in more ways than one.
Local police dogs just got a little bit safer. The new equipment that could help save lives.
And we're always looking out for you. What just happened at the state capitol after one of our investigations that could put more than $1 million back in our viewers' pockets.
Close call. How a split second was the difference between the officer walking away or being badly injured.
Wow. Okay, we had a few clouds for our Friday. We're going to tell you if those clouds are going to give way to a super sunny Saturday when we come back in 60 seconds.
A very close call for an officer near San Pedro, Texas. Dash cam video here shows the officer walking up to that truck during a traffic stop, and just as the officer approached there, the driver's side door, a motorcycle crashed into the back of the truck. See it there? That biker had just been cut off and needed to swerve. He jumped off of his bike right before that crash, and he did in fact break a few bones.
Wow, okay. Thank you very much. Texting while driving, and too many of us, frankly, are doing it. So this week, Tony gets behind the wheel. And as you are about to find out, the results are ugly.
So buckle up as Tony takes on driving blind.
Would you agree to be blindfolded the next time you cross a busy street? I didn't think so. So why do so many of us choose to drive blind?
Look up.
Wow. Wow is right. Yeah, that can happen when we drive blind, i.e. send or read a text while behind the wheel. You see it all the time on a road near you. So we set out on an in-your-face course at the CHP Academy in West Sacramento to see what could happen in a matter of seconds.
Well, the average text is 4.5 seconds, and at freeway speed, that's the length of a football field that you're driving blind.
For this course, we punched it up to 35, surface street speed, and used a number of different camera angles. First run, I couldn't do it.
Put down, put down, put down, put down, put down. Okay.
I looked up when I sensed I was going to hit something.
Instinctively, I was a little nervous, you know?
But when I kept my head down the entire time to read a text, I veered right slightly.
Now look up.
It was enough to take out this nice lady who was enjoying a morning run. No, she wasn't real, but the reaction was...
Oh! That was weird, because I felt myself like...
I couldn't even finish that thought, still shaken up by the impact.
Look up.
And you took out this jogger, and this was only about 125 feet down that runway, so you were probably at about 2.5, 3 seconds of texting when you ran off the road and killed this jogger.
Look down, look up.
As you watch this texting driver run off the road and roll, keep in mind the latest stats from 2012 show close to 500,000 injuries happen in the U.S. every year because someone couldn't wait to read or send a text message. We got this message loud and clear.
Your eyes are off the road, your brain is disengaged, a hand is off the wheel. It's about the most dangerous thing you can do.
Yet many still do it, and when they're pulled over for texting, trying to avoid the first-time $162 fine, the CHP tells us some drivers try to pull a fast one.
A lot of them, you see the throw it in the back seat. You know, they see and they're like, oh, I didn't do anything.
But they might in fact do something the next time they pick up their phone to text. Something that could have a devastating impact.
Look up.
Wow.
Wow is right. And you know, that was in bright sunshine, dry conditions. There's so many times when you're driving and you don't have that kind of visibility to begin with.
But that really illustrated what can happen. And you can watch Tony Takes On, by the way, every Friday night right here at 10 o'clock. CAL FIRE is increasing their Northern California staffing because of the drought. They will be hiring 100 seasonal firefighters starting Monday. That's weeks earlier than normal to beef up staffing from Shasta to Santa Cruz. CAL FIRE has already responded this year to 3 times as many fires as they do in a normal year.
Area reservoir levels continue to improve as temperatures rise and snow melts. Dave Benders at the Drought Desk. Yeah. Let's look at those latest numbers. How are we doing?
I mean, they're going up ever so slightly, but every little bit does help. So we're going to be talking lake levels here. And the first one, of course, of the big 3 reservoirs around our area. We're going to be talking, of course, about Shasta Lake. Now, back in January, before we got all the big rains in here, it was at 54% of normal. It's inched up to 62% of normal, so that's looking pretty good. Let's head down to Lake Orville, and you're going to find down here, you've got about a 54% start back in January, and now it's up to 65%. And the big winner, of course, is going to be down near Folsom, at Folsom Lake. Take a look at that. It's up to 74% of where we should be for this time of the year. And each and every day, a little extra moisture gets in there. So that is good news, and that means those levels will be continuing to rise as long as we have a snowpack in the higher elevations. All right, let's take a peek here at our temperatures from around the area, and also some cloud cover that's out there as well. Up in the high country, we are still looking at a few showers that are up there. For the most part, we could see a repeat of that again tomorrow. We'll just have to see if that all comes together. Not a lot to it, but we are looking at a wintry mix, and we did have a few lightning strikes up there as well. Now, temperatures to go along with some of that cloud cover that's out there right now. 57 currently in Sacramento, 61 for Stockton, 66 around Modesto, and we're in the 40s up in the higher elevations. Difference between yesterday and today, we're cooler by 8 degrees around Sacramento, so definitely a little bit chilly, and most likely it's not because of the cloud cover, it's because of that southwest wind coming in at 25 through the delta, so a bit of a delta breeze working tonight. Okie doke, let's take a look at our numbers from this afternoon. Again, we had that cloud cover around, and by the way, home opener for the River Cats tonight, so that's why the stadium's all lit up down there. Let's take a look at our numbers from this afternoon. We should be averaging low 70s. We hit the low 80s around Sacramento, a little cooler around Stockton with a daytime high at 75, and then Modesto we topped out at around 80 degrees. So we're trending to cool down a bit, and I think for tomorrow we'll see daytime highs only running for the most part in the 70s, getting close to 80 degrees. Back here, they're looking at mild weather and some wet weather as well, moving toward the mid-Atlantic. No snow to be found because the temperatures are just too mild. We're deep into spring now, and everyone's kind of getting into the active spring. Down here, we had a few clouds associated with just a little piece of energy that triggered the shower activity up in the higher elevations. Well, tomorrow again by the afternoon, right there along the crest line, maybe from about Plumas County down to the south and possibly up into the coastal range here to the north of, say, San Francisco, we'll have a chance of maybe a couple of showers or a thunderstorm. Other than that, we're going to lose the cloud cover and skies will be clearing out and things will be cooling down a little bit, but mostly sunny skies should prevail outside of the fact that you'll have some fog over toward the west to start, maybe partly cloudy skies there, and again, some unsettled weather potentially up in the high country in the form of a shower or a thunderstorm. So daytime highs tomorrow running in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees for a lot of locations. So a few clouds around tonight. Overnight lows between 48 and 52. And then for your Saturday, mostly sunny skies. Eventually, daytime highs between 75 and 80 degrees. So we are believing, at least the hour-by-hour forecast is projecting, we're going to have a few areas of some cloud cover early on. Started out at about 50. Then as we go through the afternoon, skies start to clear out. We're into the mid-70s by 3 o'clock. And then by the time we top out in the upper 70s, we start to cool down. And we're looking at fair skies tomorrow night with daytime highs, as we said, in the upper 70s, cooling to about the low 60s. So a nice cool evening getting started there at around 8 o'clock. We'll have your full forecast and talk about a couple of chances of some showers here in just a bit. Back to you.
High-tech visits. Family members will soon be able to video conference loved ones in prison. Why guards say it'll make them safer.
He's 9 years old. Tonight he has a $100,000 scholarship for college. How this local third grader did it.
And wrongfully taxed. What just happened after our investigation that could clear the way for more than $1 million to be returned to our viewers.
Grove 9-year-olds in the spotlight tonight after winning a $100,000 scholarship. Meet Duncan Nakamoto, a third grader at Joseph Sims Elementary School. His Dream Big for the Future picture was selected out of nearly 3,000 entries. He learned of his prize at school today in front of his classmates. 3 of Sacramento's 4-legged police officers got some new gear.
They now have brand new state-of-the-art bulletproof vests, courtesy of a donation.
Sacramento police dog Bosco is getting in some agility training with his new bulletproof vest, made with the same life-saving materials used in vests for human officers.
These dogs are part of our family. We don't want to send them into something that's going to get them severely injured or killed.
Bosco's handler, Officer Randy Van Dusen, knows what it's like to have a dog shot on the job. He's also Bodie's owner. Bodie took a bullet in 2012 and had to retire after his injury.
Seeing your partner get shot like that is definitely a tough thing to deal with, and so having these vests now and knowing the protection level for the dog is much better.
All 9 dogs in the Sacramento Police Department have vests. Bosco and 2 others just got the latest and greatest versions, costing about $1,000, custom fitted and equipped with infrared cameras.
It takes a nice picture here right through Bosco's ears when he's searching, and I wear a monitor on my wrist.
You won't see the dogs wearing the vests every day on the street. They're hot and heavy and used only in the most serious of situations.
It's for a special circumstance where we may have some information regarding a suspect having a weapon or some type of other high-risk incident.
A nonprofit called Cover Your Canine stepped up and donated the vests. Organizations like this have popped up in recent years to help cash-strapped departments take care of their dogs.
To be honest, we couldn't provide the care for our retired dogs and our current dogs that we do now without their support.
The vests are already proven to work. Last month, a Houston police dog survived a stabbing because of his protective vest.
All new at 10.
Buses are still in the dark ages in terms of what they're equipped with relative to safety.
The features that could make charter buses safer. Why are those changes not happening?
What in the world? It's about the prettiest prank we've ever seen. How these flowers are at the butt of a practical joke between 2 universities.
It is really disrespectful. Thieves try to go for the gold. A piece of Olympic history stolen from a Bay Area campus. Why the crooks could end up disappointed.
It's all new and next on the CBS 13 News at 10.